Hey guys, it's Ashley, and today I am bringing you something a little bit new on my channel. We're going to be doing very small, miniature, 3 to 4 minute reviews. Let's get started. So today I'm going to be talking about these two lovely books right here combined into one because I read them so freaking fast. One is To All the Boys I've Loved Before, and the other is P.S. I Still Love You, both by Jenny Han. Obviously these have been out for a very long time, about I want to say 4 or so years, and as usual, just now hopping on it, so what else is new? Pretty much everybody knows the premise to this book, I would assume, but for those who don't, basically this girl named Lara Jean writes love letters to the boys that she's loved in her past and to get over them, and one day her letters mysteriously get sent out to each of these boys and she has to deal with these consequences, as one must. To be quite honest with you, this was the first book that I had actually picked up and read after a full month of doing schoolwork, and it was so nice to just hop into some cute, romancy love stories. It was so nice, and these books were absolutely perfect for it. First of all, I loved Lara Jean. She was adorable. At first I thought she sounded a little bit young for me, which is, coming from me is weird because I love middle grade books. She just seemed a little bit too, cutesy pink doll-like for my taste, personally. I was never that girl. But I quickly got over that when I realized how much we had in common. Granted, she did seem to have a lot of friends in high school for some reason, and I absolutely did not. But other than that, everything was pretty similar, A lot of our tastes aligned, a lot of our likes aligned, a lot of what we, enjoy doing. Her personality was a little bit like me, I would say. Probably a little bit less than I'm thinking, but a little bit. I also really loved that there was a lot of family throughout this book. There was a lot of time spent, worrying about Peter and worrying about Josh, but at the same time, it was, worrying about her family and what she's doing with her father and her sisters and how she's feeling about Margot, who's off in Scotland, and all of these things, kind of combined in equal parts and made a really great story. So let's talk about Peter for a second. I'm pretty sure I have heard, I might be wrong, that people were trying to choose between Peter and Josh. Are you Team Peter or Team Josh, or who do you like more? I didn't get that at all from this. I personally didn't think that Josh ever had a chance. But speaking of Peter, from the beginning, I wasn't too fond of him. I knew exactly what, Jenny Han was going for with this person in mind, this character. It's the typical, bad boy, kind of falls in love with the cutesy, not so bad girl, that kind of thing that was happening. And I mean, while I love reading about that, at first I was a little hesitant. It just seemed very cliche. But of course, after you get into it, a really good cliche story is exactly what you need at certain points in your life, and this came perfectly in mine. And I loved the idea too, the love letters and reading the letters that she wrote to these people. It was just so cute and adorable, and it just brought, Lara Jean face first in the story, if that makes sense. It really lets you see exactly what she was thinking. All books do that, but you know what I mean. It showed a lot more of her personality. There we go. To me, one of the cutest parts of this book was probably the little contracts that they made. When Peter and Lara Jean were first pretending to be dating, they made a contract stating all of the things that could and could not be done. Then when they decided to actually date, it was, another contract of all the things that they promised they would do and would not do, and I just thought that was so cute. The one thing that I will say that I was just the teeniest bit disappointed in was probably the fact that there wasn't as much baking in this book as I thought that there was going to be. Every time I heard anybody talking about this book beforehand, I just remembered everybody telling me that Lara Jean liked to bake, and that was just the thing that she liked to do, and that's literally all I ever heard. So of course, as soon as I started reading this book, I was imagining her just baking all the time. That was the whole book, was just her baking and writing these love letters. That did not happen as much as I thought that I did. While yes, there were the occasional snickerdoodle baking parties, there was not as much as I thought. So for as much as people talk about her liking to bake, I just would have thought there would have been more. Do not mean anything bad by this, but just saying. So all in all, I seriously absolutely adored these books. I flew through them in literally like a minute flat. That was total exaggeration. More like a day. I flew through them in a day. And I actually went out to Barnes & Noble today and bought Always and Forever Lara Jean so I could finish reading the trilogy, and I'm so excited about it. In a way, I'm really glad that I waited until just now to read these books because number one, the third book came out last year, and number two, the movie comes out in just a few days' time. I think it comes out in 4 days, that's when I'm filming this, so I'm so excited to watch it. But anyway, so that is the To All the Boys I've Loved Before. The first 2 books at least, because I haven't read the third and I wanted to get my thoughts out there. I haven't made a book talk in so long, so I'm hoping that making these shorter versions of the reviews will help me get my thoughts out a little quicker rather than having to write long drawn out notes that end up becoming 30-minute book talks that I have to sift through footage for and try to edit, and then I keep putting off because it's too much work and I just don't want to deal with it right now. So this is what I have come up with. Let me know if you guys enjoy seeing these quicker style videos. Of course I will make 30-minute, videos for the big books that I'm gonna read. But for now, I think I'm just gonna stick with this. Let me know if you've read these books and what you thought, and if you can recommend any more cutesy contemporary romance stories for me. I'm slowly getting into Morgan Matson. I've finished 2 of her books already, and I'm about to jump into a third. So that is going to be it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you later. Goodbye!